Hi, this is Galaxy bringing you a game on the Jungle Basin with Socke, the Protoss German monster. The upper left has a blue Protoss, and then QXC, the American hero, as the Terran purple player on the bottom right. Both these players are quite famous. They're both compete in the professional two StarCraft scene. This is the second edition of StarCraft. No, it's the second edition of Professionals. No, it's StarCraft 2 professional scene, competing in tournaments all around the world, and I'm looking forward to what will hopefully be an exciting game. Jungle Basin is an interesting map where this ramp here gives you an easy to defend natural base. With there are destructible rocks here, and if we look at the ramp in the right here, this ramp to your main is very narrow and it's easy to defend your main. So it's like basically inviting you to get an early expansion. After that, the third might be a little harder to take because you do have to come up to this location here, or you could take one of the side locations. So we will see. Now the question I have is, will this be a macro game or a like a one basing giant army all-in type of game? In terms of the most interesting games to watch, sometimes the most exciting games are really when the players decide, if one player just to stay on one base, get a lot of unit producing structures, and do a big push and just stay on one base and try and end the game soon because then the battle happens right away and the fighting happens right away. But at the same time, you don't really get all the subtle nuances of strategy and struggle that goes on in a longer macro game where the players will opt to take early expansions and try and hold those expansions and try and get more expansions and not try and win the game. That can be a little bit more boring to watch, but I think if you have a commentator who knows a little bit about the game, then he can kind of explain what's happening and make it interesting, and tell you what exactly why why what's happening is happening, and what's good about it. So here we have some Marines taking out a probe at the Zanaga tower. This probe did not opt to run away; just take that tower and was not microed away. And we have an SCV in the base of Socke, a zealot following it around. A quick cybernetics core and gas on the way. Just one gas for both players, I believe. Nope, second gas up for QXC. I have to mention that QXC is known for his drop play, and we will have to see. Will he tech to a factory? Will he build a factory next and then a starport, build some drop ships? We will just have to see. He loves making drop ships. So, continuing on with what I was talking about, looks like, is this probe going to make? Yes, this probe is building a nexus. So I personally like the longer games because then you really get to see players' strategies develop, and I find them more interesting, kind of like watching a long chess game. But I will just leave those comments for now because it looks like we have a small, what could be a push, one Marine, one Marauder, two Marauders that is, an SCV coming up the ramp of Socke. This SCV being shot, almost killed, but a sentry will do a good job. It could put force fields there. Oh, this stalker could get picked off, and nope. You're playing with fire when you're trying to pick down concussive shelled Marauders. That was just a little push by QXC, trying to put some pressure on his opponent. But one thing again about in Jungle Basin, this natural is so easy to take that putting pressure on really doesn't do a whole lot, because if the natural were like down here, then it might prevent this player up here taking a later expansion. You see what I mean? But the pressure was coming up this ramp, but this force field would protect Socke, and really he was in no danger of losing this expansion over here. I'll reiterate, if the expansion were here and the Marauder was coming up, that would force Socke to come down the ramp and defend, and those concussive shell Marauders, I think, could have been more effective. Socke, or QXC right now, I'm doing a little patrol around his base, making sure there are no proxy pylons. Choosing to build a ton of Marauders. Let's look at the unit count. We have 6 Marauders out for QXC. And he is actually deciding to just stay on one base for now. We do have 1 medevac on the way. We'll probably be using that for dropships. I would not be surprised. Let's see if he knows about the expansion of... and he doesn't know about the expansion of Socke. He doesn't really know what Socke has gone for. All he's seen is 1 cybernetics core and 1 gateway. But he knows that he does have gateway units and hasn't really seen anything beyond that. Let's look at the base of Socke in the meantime, and it looks like there are 3 warp gates and a robotics facility pumping out an observer. QXC chilling at the Zalnaga Tower, the northern Zalnaga Tower, with a Marauder and SCV. This SCV has one health. Will probably die in the near future. And it looks like Socke will be aware that there is a drop ship on the way, so he does know that at this point the QXC has a starport. It looks like a push could be coming from QXC. Will he decide to commit to it, or will he just poke around to just see what's up? 1 Marauder getting trapped at the top of the ramp will get picked off. The sentry does survive. No, the sentry dies along with the Marauder. That was probably a good trade for QXC. And dropping Marauders in the base of Socke, and I just love this play from QXC. I love how he just loves to mess with his opponent and even bringing a factory over. Could be for scouting purposes, could be for building tanks. Will he land the factory, or no? Looks like he's just going to be scouting for now. And meanwhile, QXC just being kind of annoying with these units, stimming up the ramp. The sentry was gone, and a new sentry comes in, but gets taken down. Socke making a little mistake there. Should have could have gotten a sentry up sooner, but this sentry was over here. Oh my goodness. And looks like the units lost tab. We do have 525 resources lost for Socke, and QXC is just playing with Socke's mind right now, playing psychological games, even bringing a factory over. Does Socke know about this factory? No, he does not. But nonetheless, I would feel unsafe if I were Socke right now. Socke deciding to move out, coming down the ramp, is going to engage this force, puts down 2 force fields, but no match for Stim. These Marauders kiting this Marauder, kiting this Immortal, that is. Immortal goes down, stimming again, and these Stalkers, it looks like, are going to go down. And if we look at the health bars, but these Marauders are very low in health. Where did the medevac go? I believe it was shot down. But 3 more medevacs in the army of QXC. But if we look at the probe count, it's 31 SCVs versus 55 probes. QXC definitely a little bit behind in the economy. Let's look at the resources tab. We have 81 food for Socke and 61 for QXC. I think that's due to just Socke just took this expansion much sooner. It doesn't really have anything to do with QXC losing all those Marauders. It does a little bit, but here we go, another push from QXC. And the Colossi is now out from Socke, but does not have the thermal lance just yet. QXC's got to be really careful with these, as these medevacs are pretty low on energy. If you're looking at the base of QXC, I would like to, but I can't. QXC just constant aggression. He's known for this aggression, always being aggressive, putting on the pressure. And I can't help but wonder if this style wouldn't have been a little bit better if this expansion just were a little bit more difficult to take. Could be conjecture. I could be wrong about this. This Colossi, gotta be careful. You could get shot down easily, and this Colossi will get shot down, but the QXC does lose that bio force. This medevac does escape with his life. And I'd like to just take a look at the base of QXC just for a second if I can, but there's purple units all over the place, all over the mini-map. And it looks like we have 4 barracks, 5 barracks, 2, these looks like 3 tech labs and 2 reactors. But meanwhile, Socke is moving out. And let's see, there is a starport swapping with a barracks. There's so much going on right now in terms of the unit, the army encounters. This small force of Stalkers and Colossi is just going to poke out just a little bit. Looks like Socke is going to try and secure his 3rd way before QXC. And so if Socke can secure this third. Oh, he canceled it, looked like, and then built it again. But anyway, if he can secure that third, excuse me, then I think he could maintain his army advantage, 113 over 86. QXC needs to really make something happen. Either switch to a more macro game himself, put down a third expansion. It looks like you see this green command center here. He does plan on getting a third soon. Even scanning himself. Possibly thought he saw an observer there. And a medevac, just one medevac with an SCV and 6 Marines, deciding to do a little flying by the base of Socke, and I don't think QXC is quite yet aware of that third expansion. This is the vision of QXC. Let's see how this medevac does. Dropping those Marines, probes running away, and how does Socke respond? He brings his Colossus, and his whole army, actually abandoning the third and taking his whole army just to deal with a small force. But the medevac does escape. I think that diversionary tactic could have been more successful if QXC had his army pushing up for the third, because medevac nerve, and QXC is a little pissed off right now that the medevac, I guess he lost that medevac, and he's swearing because the medevac speed was nerfed. I really think that he did a great job of taking the army of Socke to deal with that force, and then again, I'm going to repeat myself, but if he had just pushed up at the same time, it could have been good. But you know, I am the all-seeing master since I have the everyone cam, so I know exactly what I should be doing. And here we go, a major encounter in the middle. It looks like these Colossi, one gets picked down. The Stalkers are surviving, but the second Colossi gets picked down. More Stalkers getting taken down now, and the third Colossus will get shot down thanks to these Vikings. And I think the switch to Vikings was a good choice for QXC, rather than just building medevacs. And let's hope for Socke's sake that he can hold this third. If he can, I think he'll be in a very good position. Let's see, the command center for QXC is done. 8 p.m. right now. 324 for Socke. Enormous amounts of APM, unbelievable. Look at all these purple units on the minimap streaming up to the third base of Socke, and I think Socke may not be able to hold here. Drawing probes off the line, they will get kited and taken, most of them taken out. Get your probes away so these forces can come down. Oh no, that Colossus up there was taken out. There's just too much going on for me to keep track of, to be honest. I'm so sorry. But anyway, in the production tab, looks like just one Colossus being made for Socke, and look at all that for QXC. I don't know, that looks awesome. This gateway being unpowered, and this third is going down, and I definitely think now that QXC is securing his third, if we look at the army count, it is totally reversed. QXC at 121 and Socke at 72, pulling out a great comeback, and it's due, I think, to the power of the Marauders versus those Stalkers and Colossi, the presence of medevacs, which is healing the bio army, and then of course the Vikings shooting down the Colossi too. Just his army composition is quite good. These Colossi appear to be a bit stressed out right now. Not so sure if they're they might be walking to their death pretty soon. They know there are a ton of Vikings out there, and I think they're not looking too happy. These Stalkers too are pretty afraid. They're saying, oh shit, I know there are lots of Marauders, but they do blink into the action, take out a few Marauders, and these Stalkers are going to get blown away, I think, and these Colossi are going to fall. Their predictions of doom was correct, and the GG from Socke, his Colossi just failed, blowing up and dying and falling on the ground. Oh man, those poor Colossi. However, this observer can escape from the battle and tell the tale of what had happened on Jungle Basin on November the 16th, 2010. Well, all y'all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, or sleep, or whatever it is. And I'm going to go continue my thing. Do subscribe to my channel and keep checking out my videos. Thanks so much. Cheers.